Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. And today we are going to be talking about the developer update again, not because we're retreading anything, but Behavior actually released an addendum. Yep, using our big boy words. Behavior released an addendum to the changes that are going to be upcoming in this mid-chapter. They actually adjusted some of the things that they're going to put through. They asked since the last update that a lot of people, including me, were like, hey, I know there's a lot of good stuff in here, like accessibility and like blood web adjustments and stuff like that, but this whole like healing thing, especially the 45-second recovery, kind of scary. And also, why are we nerfing Hillbilly for no reason? Especially if you took, even if you took old Hillbilly, like before his nerfs, and just plopped in the modern meta, he really wouldn't even be top 5, maybe not even top 10. So like, why are we nerfing this character? Pretty big deals, things that like upset me and things that I didn't want to see come to fruition in the game, and a lot of people didn't. So they actually released a dev update again today, telling us what they think about our feedback and what they are actually changing. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the healing changes. Now, for the PTB for the mid-chapter, they adjusted healing from base kit 16 seconds to 24 seconds, which in turn affects the recovery speed, because those are numerics that are tied together, because recovery speed is just 50% plus of the normal healing time, which was, 45 seconds, which was a fourth of your entire bleed out bar, which is pretty egregious. Now, the main target of this was probably to, tackle and look at the med kits. The med kits were probably the biggest aspect of the biggest target, I would say, of this mid-chapter change, because med kits have been probably the strongest survivor item in the game for a really long time. So adjusting them makes sense, nerfing them makes sense, but adjusting base kit healing didn't, especially when it came to that, slug lasting 45 seconds, which is almost a fourth of your entire bleed out timer. Now, they have gone back and actually fully reverted this change. They fully reverted the change, and now healing is back down to 16 seconds, which means that both the healing that happens while you're recovering and the healing that happens normally is just back to the way it would be. Which is good, because it was very, very egregious in the PTB to be recovering on the floor for a really long time. It just like really buffed the heck out of slugging, and you just slug somebody 4 times and like, not body block, but kind of like, basketball block them, and then they lose a fourth of their bleed out timer. Like, it's just stuff like that. Just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. If you want to come over and pick somebody up, like, it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. So it's good that they walked these back, but they also made an interesting and good change to medkits themselves, is that they actually increased the altruistic healing for medkits, but also added an efficiency penalty for self-healing. So now it's more greedy to go and heal yourself. You don't get as much value, but if you're trying to heal other people, you get more value. So what Behavior is essentially doing here is kind of encouraging people to play in more of an altruistic way by using your medkit, not just to heal yourself over and over, because if you do that, you have that 33% speed and efficiency penalty, but use it instead to heal other people. That way you're actually participating in altruistic gameplay and not playing selfishly, which I think is a good way to handle that. And of course, the big elephant in the room, the thing that made me the most angry, was the fact that they were nerfing the Hillbilly, despite the fact that he was already the high skill cap character in the game, despite not being very good himself. He's like low B, high C tier in most people's tier list. Some people put him even lower. Some people put him low C tier. Not a very, very good character. So the fact that they were just kind of nerfing him again was really silly, especially when it came down to Hillbilly's engravings, which had 3 total nerfs to them in 1 patch, which was absolutely ridiculous. So what they did is they completely walked back the Hillbilly changes, which, asterisk, not all the Hillbilly changes. The overheat mechanics still remain. So is Billy better at camping now? Yes. Is Billy still going to be able to curve pretty well? Yeah, because now you have your engravings untouched, because they walked back the engravings changes period, so none of that is going through, which is really wonderful. But now you have less overheat while trying to curve. So especially when you start facing better players that are more skilled at looping a Hillbilly, you see that you start to overheat a little bit. You start getting close to that overheat. You may even overheat yourself. But now you're going to have that to help you in chase. So it is not a nerf. It's the opposite. It is a buff to curve Billy, actually, which is pretty cool, because that's like the main way that I play him. Most way people play Billy nowadays, because his add-ons are so bad and he's not that good of a character. But the flip side that's sad is that, yeah, they kept the overheat changes, which means that Drift Billy has been nerfed. You still gain more overheat while sprinting for long periods of time, which does nerf Drift Billy, which is a very niche and not even a good thing. It's not even a good build. It's just more of a fun build that people run. So I wish they just I would wish they would just take out overheat period. But compared to just what was happening before, I will take this for now. And I'm glad they're not just taking away the add-ons that, you know, realistically are like not the only way to play the character, but the kind of the only way to play the character. To play consistently and have consistent results, you need at least 1 engravings. You really do. Honestly, most people were talking about potentially making at least death engravings, the yellow base kit, not nerfing the add-ons entirely. So yeah, I'm glad that didn't go through. Those were my 2 main gripes, was the healing and the Hillbilly changes. So I'm glad that they walked those back. Now we're going to cover the perks. The perks got some adjustments to them that are kind of trying to make them a little bit more viable because, well, a lot of the perk changes that are coming through with the mid-chapter update kind of just almost outright deleted a lot of these perks. So they're trying to go back and add some usefulness to them, try to buff them a tiny bit. That way they're not perceived as useless anymore. The first one being Dead Hard, which now can charge when you come off hook as well as when you unhook someone. So now you have another avenue in order to charge your Dead Hard. So it's going to be a little bit more prevalent. It's not going to be present for the first chase, which is, I think, is kind of what Behavior was going for anyway, which was to kind of like, you know, prevent Dead Hard for just being there for the first chase and having somebody like spam it and loop. Well, not spam it, you can only use it once, but you know what I'm saying. Make a really, really long chase at the beginning when they should have just went down and buy all that time for their team. You at least had to either chase and lose or at least get an unhook in order to activate the perk now, which I think makes sense. Like I said in my original video, I still think it would probably be smarter to have the perk, since it is a chase perk, tied to chase somehow, like it charges through something you do in chase or you're some sort of good efficiency in chase, but this isn't the worst thing in the world. Pain res is staying mostly the same way. I said I did not really like this change because pain res was a earned slowdown, and honestly already had a problem when it came to the RNG of Scourge hooks. The only problem with it is that you could just, like, you know, camp hook and just reuse the same Scourge hook over and over, which was kind of like how it could get really, really cheesy really quickly. So they decided that in order to make this a little bit nicer, because currently it's what you have to do is you have to hook in, you have to get fresh hooks. You have to get individual hooks on every survivor in order to proc pain res. So if you hook the same guy twice, nothing happens. It's only the first hook. And then once those 4 tokens are gone, they're gone. That's it. So they're trying to give you more bang for your buck now. They're trying to make this regression 25% per token, and trying to increase those numbers from 15%. I still think it was, obviously the problem was more with Scourge hooks and not necessarily pain res itself. But I agree with the motive, the intention to try and at least make more bang for the buck. Because if it's only going to be 4 times, you got to make it like pretty worthwhile to do. So yeah, circular healing is in a similar spot where, you know, despite how annoying circular healing was, their nerf kind of just like deleted the perk because the whole point, the only thing that made circular healing really good was the fact that it unlocked it was a little self-healing circle for everybody. They took that away, so to try and like curb that out, they made the healing speed, they doubled the healing speed from 50% to up 100 while you're in the circle, which is like, once again, encouraging more altruistic gameplay, which I guess is okay. It'll still be helpful if, like, you know, somebody's holding a 3-gen and everybody keeps taking hits and having to run away to go heal. That'll help. But still, I don't see people bringing circle the healing post this, because that's a lot of downtime setting up a totem just so you can heal faster and the killer can still kick it. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it still. So yeah. And the very last thing is they show us that there's going to be a variation of the 4-lane that's a little different. It looks a little weaker in terms of the walls, but it might be easier to get this long wall vault out here for survivors. So, you know, good and bad. It's just another variation, just like how you have like jungle gyms and then long wall jungle gyms. They're basically the same tile, except one is slightly different or slightly better. You know, so yeah. But those are the changes that they're making to the dev update. Everything else is staying the same. And, you know, like I said, my main 2 gripes, that being the healing change and the hillbilly change, have been reverted. So that makes me pretty happy. I'm looking forward to actually playing as the game goes forward. I can't wait until like a dull merchant can't sit there with Overbrine and just delete gens and hold a 3-gen as well as she used to. I'm excited that to not have to spend 45+ seconds pulling somebody up off the ground. That's not going to be a thing anymore. Hillbilly was obviously slightly buffed, and that's my secondary character, so I'm happy about that. Now, the elephant in the room here, obviously, is that they still haven't really done anything about the DDoS issue. We haven't had an update about that in a while, so I wouldn't say like, oh, behavior is saved and now they're great and awesome. I would still keep in mind that like they still have no idea what's causing the DDoS thing, and even if this does actually die down and the DDoS stop happening, This is going to come back until they fix it. It's going to come back until they fix it. So don't be like, oh, Behavior's a great and perfect company now because they listen to feedback. Don't be like that either. Be appreciative for what you've gotten, but still hold them accountable for the bad things that they do, which is kind of this kind of like fumbling full DDoS situation. So yeah, keep that in mind. But with that, I'm going to close out this video. I'm mostly excited for the changes now that they got rid of the two big ouchies, the two big ouchies I was not excited for. But still don't be like, you know, Behavior great, because, you know, they made some big oopsies that they still haven't, you know, really made up for. So yeah, I do upload daily though, so I will see you tomorrow, guys. I appreciate y'all, but if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.